Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks. I am your host, Kevin Stewart. And as always, guys, I am super pumped up. I'm very excited, but I'm excited because of the time of year. I don't know if you guys feel this the way I do, but this time of year is super special to me. Of course, the holidays are amazing. I love coming through the whole holiday season. I love Halloween. Not a lot of people like Halloween. My daughter likes Halloween. She thinks it's super funny, all of the spookiness of Halloween. Thanksgiving is a blast. Who doesn't love getting together, sharing food, sharing meals, sharing time with our families, watching the Lions play? Unfortunately, they let us down this year, but watching the Lions play is a part of my Thanksgiving tradition. Watching the parades and watching the joy that comes out of the Thanksgiving season, taking the time to be grateful, to say thank you to people that matter to you, and then working our way into the Christmas season. Gosh, the Christmas season is special. I don't know a single person that doesn't love this time of year. There's something very heartwarming and special about this time of year. But there's an additional reason that I love this time of year because it allows me to plan for what's about to come, which is the start of a brand new year. It's the start of a new season and a new season for me personally, for my company, and an opportunity for us to look forward and plan for what's next. Every single year, we take the time to go and do some sort of retreat. We've done different things in the past. We've traveled. We've done things here in the office at the conference table. We've done offsites. We've done tons of different things over the years in order to take time to sit back, reflect, and find a way to grow and be better. We also take the time to figure out what is going to be the game plan, what is going to be the playbook that we take into the next year. A little bit ago, last week, my team took the opportunity and took the time to travel to Nashville, Tennessee. Good friends of mine, Ben Wilson and his team at Team Wilson Real Estate Partners, are out there absolutely doing amazing things in the city of Nashville. And our team took an opportunity to go there and learn from them. We took the time to have a ton of fun, spend some time on Broadway listening to incredible music, having a good time as a company, but also taking the time to observe a team that we believe, if we take the right amount of effort, we can turn into. We do believe that that is a great model for us to see and view and learn from. So we took the time to visit them. We then took an entire day to sit down and plan and go into the process of preparing for our next year. So as I'm going through that process, I'm thinking through, and I heard and I saw this great video discussing an NFL tactic. I mentioned the Lions earlier. I absolutely love the Lions. This year's a tough year so far. It's not over, guys. The playoffs are still a possibility, but it's becoming a lot more difficult as we go. But I love this team, and I love the game of football. I'm a huge sports fanatic, all sorts of different sports. I think, for some reason, my brain thinks inside of sports. I take so many parallels from the different sports that I watch and bring them into my daily life and into my business. That's always been something that I've done. But I heard this incredible concept. I never got the opportunity to play football. Oddly enough, I never went to a school that had a football team. I never went to one. I went to Oakland Christian High School. We did not have a football team. They do now. But when I attended, there was a much smaller school. We didn't have a football team. When I went to Rochester Christian University, they did not have a football team. In fact, they still don't. But I've always been a fan of the game of football, but I never got the opportunity to play it. So I heard about this concept though, and as I've started watching football, I can see it. I'm going, oh my gosh, that's absolutely what's happening. It's a concept called the first 15. So this is a regular practice with a lot of NFL teams, which is that when they are preparing, what they do to prepare, they go through the week, they watch film, they analyze the competitor that they're coming up against. They take a look and see what that team's strengths are, what their weaknesses are, where the holes are, where the gaps are, where they can attack and find a way to be offensively aggressive, where they can find a way to score quickly. And so what most NFL teams do is they come out and they call it their first 15, which is they orchestrate the first 15 plays of the game. The team goes in knowing exactly what they are going to do for the first 15 plays. If you're observing this inside of a football game, you will see that a lot of times at the beginning of the game, the offense is moving very quickly. They're not getting into huddles. There's not a lot of timeouts. There's not a lot of things that are happening. You can see and you can tell the players know exactly what to do, where to go, and what their game plan is. And usually they stick to it. They go through and they commit to the first 15 plays that they are going to use to try to gain a tactical advantage over their opponent. They plan those first 15 plays. Now, after that, what do they have to do? They have to adjust. They have to shift. They have to see what is happening in the game. They have to make adjustments in the game in order to win as the game progresses. So this made me think, do we have a first 15? We need to develop a first 15 inside of our year. If the year has 4 quarters, just like a football game, what are we doing to orchestrate the first quarter of our year? What are we doing to orchestrate and set up for the best success possible against what we know about the year that's coming? And have we taken the time? Do we take the proper time to plan around what we believe is going to happen? And then as the year progresses, decide what to do next. Make sure that we're pivoting and adjusting and shifting. We're still sticking to a game plan, but we're making small shifts as time goes on. So what I want to bring to you guys today is what I believe is the first 15 of your year. These are the first 15 things that I think you need to think and plan around. Oddly enough, my team does a couple of exercises as we're planning, and one is we take the time to reflect on the year that was and the year that we hope to build. We take the time to work on ourselves first. And I break it down into 5 categories. There's 5 categories that we focus on where we reflect on what's happened and then look forward to what we want to do. These 5 categories are our family, our faith, our finances, our fitness, and our future. These 5 categories, I believe, are what create a balanced life. If you can have and improve yourself in all 5 of these categories, I guarantee you can find a way to have the best year of your entire life. But if you only focus on one and ignore the others, you create an unbalance. You create a situation where it's very hard to win the game. If a football team only focuses on the running game and they don't pretend to even attempt to throw the ball, it's easy for the other team to just focus on the run and stop them every time. You have to have the balance as an offense in order to actually be a threat. So in order for you to attack your next year, you have to go in with a plan that's balanced. So I put in 3 things inside of each one of those 5 categories that I believe need to become a part of our first 15 moving into 2026. So first, let's start with family. I define family not only as the family that you're born with, but the family that you choose. Friends are a big part of this category. I have a lot of people in my life that I consider family. I absolutely consider them family because they're the family that I chose. They're the family that I'm choosing to live my life with. And then there's the family that we have, the family we're born with. Both are super, super important. But these are effectively the relationships that we choose to have and bring into our life. They are the people that share our character. They're the people that align with the things that we want to do. And in my opinion, are a big part of the why we do what we do. So the first thing, the first part of our first 15 has to be our relationship priorities. You have to decide in advance who in your life matters the most. You have to define exactly who those people are because they have to get the love and attention first. You cannot give those people your leftovers. If you give those people your leftovers, you are setting yourself up for complete catastrophe. The relationships and the relationship priorities that you have in your life are going to define your joy moving into next year. The second thing, you have to build in calendar anchors. These are the boulders in your life around our family and our relationships. I set up something called a perfect work week. Everyone inside my company has the same thing. And what we do is we try to decide what is the best way to formulate our weeks and what's the best way to prioritize our time. The first thing I ask everybody to do is put the boulders in first. I saw an analogy, I've seen it over and over the years, where somebody brings a glass jar and they drop in a couple of really big rocks and ask if the jar is full. Some people usually say no. Then they drop in pebbles, little small stones that fill in the gaps. And they ask, is the jar still full? Some people say yes. They start to see it as full. Then someone comes and sprinkles in sand all over that fills in the space in between the pebbles. Is the jar still full? It's not. Because on top of that is the last piece, which is the water. You pour water on top and it fills all of the rest of the spaces in that jar. Guys, that jar is your life. But you have to put things in that order. The boulders, the big rocks have to go in first. Because if not, if you fill your life first with the water, you put that in the jar first, there is no space for anything else. You have to put in the things that matter the most first. The boulders that have to go in first are your family and the family you choose, your family and friends and the relationships you have. So you have to build in time for your family, time for vacations, time to honor traditions. You have to put those things in to your game plan first, because without that, you are going to immediately create an imbalance. The third thing of our first 15 is you have to create boundaries. Choose who and what and limit it. This is one of those times in life where less is more. I believe that too often we focus too broad. We believe we have to, do what's best for everyone. We have to focus on everybody. We have to take our time to help every single person. Though I think that's good, I also think it's important to make sure that we're not doing that at the expense of the most important people in our lives. We have to focus on them first. We have to avoid the energy vampires. You've heard me talk about on this podcast over and over this last year about how I don't deal with victims. Victims are complete energy vampires to me. People that have a victim mentality who don't take accountability and responsibility for themselves. I have to exclude those people from my life. I can still love them. I can still be there on occasion to help them and listen to them, but I cannot make them a priority in my life. I just can't. You have to be careful. You have to avoid overcommitting, putting things in that take away from these big boulders in your life. You also have to be careful to not, have the guilt of missing out in the future. The guilt of looking back and saying, oh my gosh, what have I done? Do you know how many fathers I know that I've spoken to that have so much guilt later on in life because they only prioritize work? They only prioritized success. They prioritized money. They prioritized everything above their family while using their family as an excuse for why. But then they look back, they get older and wise, and in their wisdom, they sit back and reflect in the rocking chair and go, oh my gosh, what have I done? I don't know my children and my children don't know me. What have I done? That is a life I don't ever want to live. That's a spot and that's a position I don't want to be in. So therefore, I have to prioritize my children. I have to prioritize my wife. I have to prioritize my family. Prioritize the friends that I choose to be a part of my family. That's how I'm going to create balance. So you have to create boundaries. Moving into faith, that's the second piece that we have to focus on. Faith is your inner life. It's what keeps you grounded. Faith is different for everybody. The faith that you have in life is different for everybody. I'm a believer. I believe that Christ came and he died for our sins. I believe in that. I believe in that life. I believe that the Christian faith is important. That is what grounds me. That's what keeps me where I'm supposed to go. It's the peace that points me back where I need to be. But what does faith provide? Number 4, the fourth thing that is a part of our first 15 is your daily stillness. No matter where you stand in your faith, you have to create space to listen. You have to create space to allow the world to speak to you and bring you what you need to hear. Time for things like prayer and meditation and even silence. These are the things that help your faith grow, because your faith grows in the quiet, not in the chaos. We live in this world that's completely full of chaos. It's full of so much nonsense. But our faith is grounded and our life is grounded in the quiet times when we take the time to listen and sit in daily stillness. That needs to be a part of your first 15. The fifth thing, you have to have I suggest one or a group of guided words. You have to have a theme. Go into your year with a theme. When we went on our retreat, my team spent a ton of time having conversations about what we wanted to do, what we wanted to work on. This year's theme was the power of positivity. We knew that we needed to have a positive mindset that drove towards all of our goals. We knew that if we kept a positive mindset, we would find success. 2 years ago, it was Mamba mentality. It was becoming the best version of ourselves. It was using that idea to strive towards growth and strive towards greatness. This year, our guiding words and our theme is give back, move forward. We decided that we are going to give at a totally different level. We are going to provide value in ways that we never have before. We are going to give first. We are going to give back to everyone around us. But then we're going to use that to move forward. We're not going to let anything that's happened in the past hold us back. We're not going to do that. We're not going to worry about what has been, but we are going to look to the future. We are going to move forward. So we're going to give back and move forward. We felt it was a perfect theme for a way to us to center our mindset. Again, to center our mindset in a place that grounds us in order that we can move forward. The sixth thing is you have to have reflection checkpoints. You have to schedule time to pause. I did an entire episode on this. Go back and listen to it if you can, but you have to take time in daily gratitude, in weekly reflection, in monthly pauses. Guys, we have to take breaks. We have to take the time to sit back and reflect on what is happening, on what's going on. That is so important in order to fill ourselves and give ourselves the energy to move past what we even believe we're capable of. Even the spirit needs rhythm and rest. We have to be able to give ourselves permission to take a reflective pause. Are you building those into your days, into your weeks, and into your months as you plan for 2026? The third place, the third F word, the third piece and place in which we're going to spend our time is finance. Guys, finance is our stewardship. It's our discipline. It's our provision. It's our ability to have the ability to do greater things. I believe that finance and money is a tool. I believe it's a tool in our tool belt that allows us to do things that are exceptional. If I wasn't able to find a way to have my finances right, I wouldn't be able to do something like this, which gives me passion, which provides me energy, and I hope helps make the world a better place. But it's not free. Life is not free. Finances is a very real part of our life. And if we don't take the time to focus on them and we ignore them as though they don't matter, I believe we're wasting what we could be doing. You have to pay attention to your finances. So the seventh thing, the seventh part of our first 15 is you have to have financial targets. You have to have clear and honest opinions of what you need to do and where you need to go financially. That involves your income. What are your income goals as far as how much you want to earn personally or as a family? What does your savings look like? How much are we going to hold back? What is our reserve number? Are we prepared for hard times? Are we prepared so that stress doesn't come about because of finances? Are we investing? Are we taking the time to plan for future cash flow that can help our family for generations? Are you taking the time to do that? And are you taking the time to give? Are you taking and planning the opportunity to give of your finances? I had a very, very cool thing happen to me today. My son is 9 years old. And for his ninth birthday, his Uncle B sent him a very cool gift, a little camera that he could play with, and also sent him $100. To my 9-year-old son, $100 is a ton of money. In fact, it got him over the edge of saving for something that he'd wanted for a really long time. He was able to go out and buy that with me, pay cash himself that he had earned to buy that item. But his Uncle B challenged him. His Uncle B said, Jesse, what I want you to do with this $100 is, he said, spend some of it, use some of it for something you want. But he challenged him. He didn't tell him how much, but challenged him to save and to give, because he told him that's what's important in life. So my son sat back, and without prompting, after reading that, and today I'm getting ready to do an event, a charity event, because this is the season of giving. It's one of the parts and the reasons I love this time of year. It's the season of giving, and a group of friends of mine are getting together today, and we're going to give back. We do this annually, and we selected a charity. A good friend of mine, Chad and Allie Peterson, their son, Easton. Talk about an inspiration. Their 4-year-old son, Easton, decided in a school project that he wanted to give back as well. And so what he did is Easton started collecting pop cans, because he found out that there was dogs inside of a shelter that didn't have a home and didn't have resources and didn't have food and didn't have toys. And it hurt his feelings. So he decided to do something about it. As a 4-year-old child, he decided to collect soda cans and pop cans and bottles and take them back and then give all of that money to the charity. What that's turned into is multiple news stories, all the way from local Channel 4 all the way to CNN, about the impact that little Easton is making in the world. Easton inspired my 9-year-old son, Jesse, and today my son came and handed me $25. $25 of his Uncle B birthday gift, and said, Dad, I want you to give this to the puppies because they need it. Easton inspired my 9-year-old son. I sent that text to a ton of people today to show them that and tell them that story. And I believe my 9-year-old son is now inspiring others to do the same, because giving of our finances is important. Financial targets are an incredibly important part of our first 15. The eighth piece of this is we have to have a weekly rhythm. Structure and value creation. We have to have structure around these rhythms. Time blocking, I talked about it a little bit ago. We have to have a time block, just like I was talking about those rocks and those pebbles. We have to have time set aside if we're going to have big financial goals. You have to have deep working blocks. For us, it's prospecting. We have to have times where we are very, very intentional with our time in order to meet our financial goals. You have to have administration time, growth time, but you have to have time where you focus on your finances. How often do you sit back with your spouse and have a conversation about the money? Did you know that's one of the largest reasons for divorce? One of the largest reasons for divorce in this country is financial stress. I believe it's because we ignore it. We don't take the time to sit down with our spouse and talk openly and honestly about the finances. Are you having financial meetings? Is that a part of your regular monthly rhythm? We have to have these weekly and monthly rhythms in place in order to have our finances right. The ninth thing is you have to have the development of your skills. Take time and build time into your year to develop your skills. You have to choose the skills that unlock your growth potential. Things like leadership, communication, sales, decision making. These are all skills that we can grow in. But the growth in your skills creates the margin everywhere else. If you can get better at the things that you are already good at, or create a new skill, you have the ability to develop so much more than you are right now. That is how people increase their financial situation. They just create more value. They give more value. That is how they do it. We read an amazing book to finish our year, which is, I believe, how our theme came about, called The Go-Giver. This book talks about how you give first, but then be ready to receive, because it will come around. But it happens because you develop your skills. You have to get better. You have to find a way to develop something new so that you can provide more value to everyone around you. The next piece of this, the fourth area that we focus inside of, is our fitness. Our fitness is our energy, our health, and our sustainability. It's not just going to the gym. It's so much more than that. But we have to focus on our fitness. So the 10th thing, the 10th part of our first 15, is you have to have a health game plan. We have to protect our physical foundation through movement, through nutrition, sleep, recovery. All of these are important factors. This is a year where health is a huge, huge focus of my family. Myself and Sarah had an amazing conversation just a couple of days ago about how we are going to better plan for the sustainability of our family's health. We have to do it. You can't get your health back. I know so many people that I have watched that would give anything for their health. Be around anybody who is lost or doesn't have their health at 100%. It is hard. If you have your health right now, gosh, you need to thank God for that. I thank God for the health that I have, but it is my responsibility to protect that, to build a plan to make sure that I'm maintaining that as a high level. Because our body carries our calling. Guys, the body that you have, that you've been given by God, carries the calling that you are meant to be. My favorite song, it's one of my favorite song lyrics. In fact, I'm working on a lyrical tattoo for my arm because it means so much to me. Is a song by Mumford and Sons. It's called Not With Haste. And the end of the song has an amazing lyric that says, "Do not let my fickle flesh go to waste, as it keeps my heart and soul in its place. I will love with urgency, not with haste." We have to take care of our bodies. Like it says in that song, don't let this flesh go to waste, because my heart and soul is what I'm going to leave behind. It keeps my heart and soul in its place. The body is where everything lives. If we don't have our health, we can't be what we're meant to be. So you have to have a health game plan around your food, what you put into your body, your rest, your recovery, and your movement. The 11th thing is morning routine. I love morning routine. You've heard me talk about it on this podcast a bunch. Morning routine is something that sets me up for success. And I can tell you the times when I ignore my morning routine and I get lazy with it is when I am absolutely not at my best. But if I focus and maintain a positive and solid and structured morning routine, everything else seems to fall into place. So here's my morning routine. I wake up early. I wake up at 5:30. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I push the snooze button a little bit, but I am working on getting to the gym at 6:15. I'm going to work on this year actually making that a touch earlier. I want to be able to spend a little more time at the gym. So I'm going to be starting a little earlier than that this year. But right about 6 o'clock, I'm going to be shooting to go to the gym. I get some time in personal reflection. I get to work on my body. I get to push myself, challenge myself. That's something that helps me. It gives me huge energy when I leave the gym. I have never once in my entire life left the gym and been like, dang it, I wasted my time. Never, not once in all my life. In fact, I've never left the gym and even been upset. All I've done is left and been energized and super grateful that I took the time to get my 10 toes on the ground and get my butt to the gym. So I start with that. I come home, I get some time to get ready. I take my son to the bus. I get some chance to talk with him, listen to some of our favorite songs, and set our day right. I now get the opportunity to do the same thing with my daughter and take her to preschool. We get our time to drive into school. These are very important times for me with my children because I have scheduled time every morning that I know I get to see them. They bring me energy. Next thing I do is I come into the office. I take time here. I take time to read. I read this book behind me called Leadership Principles every morning. It's a great devotional that sets me up to be a better leader. I take time to read a book. I'm surrounded by books right now. I'm always working on trying to find a way to get better. And then a place where I'm challenging myself this year and going to continue to get better is time in just quiet. Time where I sit in peace and listen. I sit in my faith and feel and listen to what God wants to tell me. That's how I set up my morning routine. From there, it's go, go, go. But I have to take my time to properly plan for my morning routine. How you begin your day will shape how you lead your day. It is so important to make sure you have a plan to begin your day. The 12th thing in our first 15 and the last part of fitness is recovery and adjustment. You have to build space to reset and to rest. Rest days, breaks, mid-course corrections to reflect and say, hey, you know what? I've got an injury, so I need to change the way I'm working out in the morning. Or, hey, I may need a little bit more time and quiet because I need a little more peace in my life. Maybe because it's beautiful out in the summertime, I'm shifting and I'm doing my quiet time on a walk and talking out loud for the things that I'm grateful for. You have to take those mid-course corrections and change things as you go. But you have to start with a plan to recover and adjust because endurance beats intensity over time. Endurance will beat intensity over time. You just have to give it time. The last piece that I want to focus on is the future. That's the last F that we focus on is the future. This is the vision, the legacy, and the purpose that we plan to leave behind in this world. The 13th piece of the first 15 is vision. You have to define what winning looks like for you. What does the actual win in life look like? You have to find that out for yourself. Who are you becoming? How you want to live? And what success truly means for you. I don't believe most people think that. What they do is they take what the world gives them, what the world tells them success looks like, what the world tells them they should be doing. But what they don't do is take the time to reflect and have the vision for their life of what they believe success looks like, what they want to be remembered for. Do you take the time every day to vision plan for what you want the future to look like? Who you want to spend it with? What you want to be doing with it? Because your vision turns effort into meaning. You have to have that vision because without that, the effort is meaningless. You can give all the effort in the world, but if you don't have a reason and a vision for why, guys, it's not going to matter. And you're never going to actually do and be the best version of yourselves. The 14th thing, you have to have a set of top priorities. You have to choose your top 3. This is about focusing small, not on everything. What are your top 3 priorities coming into the year? We also, after we do this exercise where we go through these categories, I challenge my team to break down 10 wants. What are the 10 things you want to accomplish in 2026? And they write them down. Here's the goals. I ask them to categorize them, have a little bit in each category, again, to create balance. But what are the 10 things that you want to accomplish in 2026? But then I have them go one step further. What are the 3 things that you will accomplish in 2026? There's a difference between want and will. Want is I hope to. Will is come hell or high water, I am going to make this happen this year. These are the things that I am committing to that no matter what, these are the first 3 dominoes that have to fall. Do you have 3 things that you are willing to commit to this next year? Because focus will beat force. You have to focus on those things. You have to focus on them every single day until they become your reality. Define 3 things and your top 3 priorities, because that is going to be a part of your vision for this next year. And the last thing, the 15th part of our first 15 plays that we're going to run is your why. You have to name your deeper purpose. You have to be super honest with yourself to understand your why. Who are you building this life for? What is at stake? What is the legacy that you are going to leave behind? That is the definition of your why. My why is to leave a positive impact on everybody I meet. I want to make people smile. I want to help people. I want to help them see the best versions of themselves. I want to help people be happy. That's my why. I want to walk through and live through life in that fashion. What is your why? I want to create a legacy. I want my children and their children to look back and say, he's the reason I'm driven for this. He started it. He said it here. And guys, I'm not even going to say I started it. It was started by my father and my grandfather. I've told that story. I am continuing and I am growing and building upon a legacy that was set forward already. But it is my responsibility, as my why, to make sure that I hand that to the next generation. I have to do that. I cannot go through this life without that. What is your why? Are you clearly defining it, and are you working toward it every day? Purpose is the fuel that is going to carry you through the hard times. This next year, I can tell you at some point, is not going to be easy. Everybody watching and listening to this right now, I promise you one thing, that next year is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be simple. And at some point, just like in football, you're going to come across the line and you're going to get hit in the mouth. You're going to get knocked down really hard, because that's the game of life. But if you have a better defined purpose, it gives you the ability and the willingness to get up off the ground and go again. The bigger your purpose, the faster you jump up, the faster you recover, because life is going to hit you in the face. But are you willing to stand up and go again? You don't have to plan everything. You don't have to plan all 12 months of the year, because we don't know what next year's going to bring. But my challenge to you is to plan your first 15. Take these 15 things and find ways to make definitions inside your life that help set up your game plan to win the game. You have to anchor your relationships, ground your faith, steward your finances, protect your health, and build towards what matters. Do those things, and I promise you, you are going to have your best year ever. Guys, as always, do these things to challenge yourself. Do these things to build up who you are. Go out there into this world and be yourself, because the world desperately needs you. Have a good day, guys. Bye.